Hi, Daniel D, ventriloquist here again with Hadley. And oh yeah, hey, hello. and I said that in this video we'd think about voice and how our voices interact and how they differ, and the important aspect of having different voices for you and for your character. If you remember way back in the beginning, I said that when I perform, my voice becomes ever so slightly posher, not that posh, but because Hadley actually talks very similar to the way I naturally talk. So what I do when I'm on stage is I become a little better spoken. My pronunciation is rather more clear than it might be ordinarily, and that's so that Hadley's voice is a contrast to me. So Hadley, yeah. So when I'm on stage, I try to talk quite nicely. I know you do, yeah. Well, I try to talk quite nicely too. Well, you do talk nicely, Hadley. Yeah, you talk very nicely. But what I'm saying is your voice, yeah, is different to mine, isn't it? It is, yeah. You know why? Well, why is that? Because you've got a stupid voice. I don't want your voice. Thank you. If you're using multiple puppets, I mean, it goes without saying, but try and have a different accent for each of your puppets, or a different voice, or a different way of presenting. So, for example, my girl puppet, I use a falsetto voice. Now, this is great fun, and we'll get onto this a bit later because I said we would. When I'm using Hadley and my girl puppet, who goes on this side, there's actually 3 voices to think of. 3? Yes, Hadley. My voice, oh yeah. Your voice, yeah. And Tilly's voice. And Tilly, I use a falsetto voice, so she's higher because she's a girl. So therefore you have to practice changing between those, which is great fun. We sing songs as well, Tilly and I. She's not actually there, is she? I'll bring her next time so that you can see her. We sing songs together, and I have to change my voice. Now, how do you do that? Practice in front of the mirror. That's right. Now, I know, Hadley, that you practice a lot in front of the mirror, don't you? Of course I do, yeah. All the time, yeah. Because otherwise, what? I make too many mistakes. Yes, that's right. And then, what? I get beaten. You do not get beaten. For goodness sake. Well, you keep me in a box. Stop it. So, think about your voice. Now, don't worry about coming up with a voice instantly. Some puppets instantly create a voice for themselves. Others take a long time. I've got little girl, Tilly. Her voice was instant. I knew what she was going to speak like. And actually, because she sings certain songs, she's quite well spoken. She sings songs by Vera Lynn, that well-known singer from the 1940s. So she sings in that sort of accent, which is quite well-spoken English accent, you know. Hadley's a northern lad, so he speaks with a northern accent. I've got a dog. He's kind of usually more American because he sings Elvis songs sometimes. I've got a tortoise. Now, tortoises, as we all know, are slow. So he speaks slowly. He does, yeah, I can't understand him. I know, well, it's only because he's slow. Tortoises are always slow. I know that they live a very, very long time. They do, I know. I've also got the bird. Now let me talk about the bird, and I will introduce you to the bird. That bird took absolutely ages for me to choose a voice for. And even now, I'm still not quite happy with the voice that he has. Because it can change sometimes. Usually he's Australian, he's an Australian parakeet, although he's not really. But he's Australian because we have jokes about flying all over the place and his wings are tired and things like that. So it kind of fitted, and it's a little more exotic. Unless you are Australian, then it's probably quite normal. So have a think about your voice, but often as you get to know your puppet, a voice will suggest itself. I've got another puppet character who's a bit more grown up than Hadley, similar to Hadley, but he's older, more mature. So he has a mature English voice. Can you actually do his voice, Hilton's voice? I can try, yeah. I'll just have a think. What does he sound like? Oh, yeah. Go on then.
Good afternoon. Yes, it's nice to see you here, and welcome.
Yeah, something like that, similar to that. Well, I don't hear him really there very much, do I? No, well, that is true, actually, Adley, yeah. So think about your voice. But the key thing, as we've said all along, is make sure your own voice is different enough to your puppets to be recognisable. Don't worry about going over the top, because you don't have to do too much. Paul Zerdin's main puppet, Sam, he has a voice that's very, very different to Paul's own voice. Much, much higher, much more childlike. But we're not all good at doing voices like that, so don't feel you've got to copy one of the great ventriloquists. Come up with your own voice that works with your puppet character. So that's a little on voices and the differentiation. What we're going to do next is talk a little bit about... What are we going to talk about next? I think we should talk about... what are you going to talk about? Well, I was going to talk about working with two puppets together, actually. Oh, yeah, that'd be great. Shall I go and get Tilly? I think you should, yeah. Yeah, go and get Tilly. All right. I'll see you next time. Bye.